Hello, I'm Professor Kerry Irish. Welcome to a series of selected readings in C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. Today we are looking at part 3 of What Lies Behind the Law. In previous readings, Lewis established that there exists a law of human nature, a moral law, that human beings recognize but largely disobey. In this chapter, he is establishing the origin of that law, or as he puts it, what lies behind the law. He has already shown the fact that we cannot answer this question by science. Lewis continues the argument. The question is this: we want to know whether the universe simply happens to be what it is, the so-called materialist view, or whether there is a power behind it that makes it what it is. Since that power, if it exists, would not be one of the observed facts, but a reality that makes those facts, no mere observation of the facts, science, can find it. There is only one case in which we can know whether there is anything more, namely, our own case. And in that one case, we find that there is. Or put it the other way around, if there was a controlling power outside the universe, it could not show itself to us as one of the facts inside the universe. No more than the architect of a house could actually be a wall, or staircase, or fireplace in the house. The only way in which we could expect it to show itself would be inside ourselves as an influence or command, trying to get us to behave in a certain way. And that is exactly what we do find inside ourselves. Surely this ought to arouse our suspicions. In the only case where one can expect to find an answer, the answer turns out to be yes. And in other cases, where one does not get an answer, one sees why there is no answer. Suppose someone asked me, when I see a man in a blue uniform going down the street, leaving little packets at each house, why do I suppose they contain letters? I would reply, because whenever he leaves a similar little packet for me, I find it does contain a letter. And if he then objected, but you've never seen all the letters which you think the other people are getting, I would reply, of course not. I would not expect to because they are not addressed to me. I'm explaining the packets I am not allowed to open by the ones I am allowed to open. It is the same concerning our question about the origin of the law of human nature. The only packet I'm allowed to open is man. When I do, especially when I look inside that particular man called myself, I find that I do not exist on my own, that I am under a law, that somebody or something wants me to behave in a certain way. I do not, of course, think that if I could get inside a stone or a tree, I would find exactly the same thing. Just as I do not think all the other people in the street get the same letters as I do. I would expect, for instance, to find that the stone had to obey the law of gravity. That whereas the sender of the letters merely tells me to obey the law of my human nature, he compels the stone to obey the laws of its stony nature. But I would expect to find that there was a sender of letters, of messages, in both cases, a power behind the facts, a director, a guide. This concludes part 3 of What Lies Behind the Law. In summary, Lewis has shown that there is some power behind the law, some supreme being, the sender of messages. That message may be the law of gravity that all things obey, or the law of human nature, of which all human beings are aware, but more often than not, sadly, disobey. The existence of the message is the proof of the messenger. And I thank you for your kind attention.